I went deer hunting last year. And by deer hunting, I mean I went to my buddy's cabin in the woods. We got drunk and played cards all night. And then the next day, I slept in a tree with a gun. This is awesome. I'm going to do it again this year. I got back to the cabin, and my friends were like, "What'd you get?" And I was like, "I don't know, it was like 8 hours." Love being from Wisconsin. People always ask me how we deal with the cold weather, and I just tell them the truth. You know, we just start drinking and make shit up. We do, like the polar plunge. Yeah, that's a great creation. Just cut a hole in the ice and jump in. What could go wrong? What's great now is it's for Special Olympics, so they're actually raising money for the Special Olympics, which I think is awesome. What I think is really funny, though, is that you know there's Special Olympians on hand watching the people raise the money for them. And they're watching these people jump in the frozen lake. And they're just like, wow, these guys are idiots. Maybe we should be raising money for them. I mean, we were born this way, you know? That's a choice. Very bad choice. Before comedy, I had a corporate job. I had health insurance, and when I left that to start comedy, I lost my health insurance. So now when I get sick, I go on the internet and I diagnose myself. Don't do that. Last year I had 4 yeast infections. I might have sickle cell right now too. So. That's how I see a joke, everybody. The for real part is that when I did start doing stand-up comedy, I did get sick for real. And it's one of those things, like everybody in here, either you or a loved one had something bad happen to you medically, and you know that even when it gets dark and heavy, you find things that are funny, because that's how you deal with things. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. You guys are going to loosen up your buttholes. And if you don't laugh, you're being dicks. That's really the way it works out. But what happened is 5 years ago, unbeknownst to me, I had a virus that affected my heart. My heart got enlarged. And over like a year's time, I started feeling very lethargic. I started putting on weight. I started feeling horrible. And I didn't go to the doctor right away because, number one, I didn't have health insurance. But also, I'm going to be more than honest with you people. I'm a man. We don't like going to the doctor. We don't. Every man has what I call Dr. Penis MD. We listen to him. I did. You know, he was always like, "Oh, Steve, you don't feel good? Maybe play with me for a while. How about that?" Brightens your spirits, gets in a little cardio. But I didn't go to the doctor. That was the bad part. And I waited until, like, literally I thought I was dying. Like, I woke up one morning and my legs were puffy. I had a hard time breathing. My heart was beating just way out of whack. And I went to the emergency room, and then they scared me because they treated me like it was a real emergency. Yeah, normally they don't do that. You walk in and you're like, "Hey, I think I'm dying," and they're like, "Well, grab a seat." But not this time, man. They were on it. And that started 5 years ago. And what happened is I had an enlarged heart, which is like a congestive heart failure, atrial fibrillation. I spent more than a few days in the hospital. I actually had heart surgery 10 months ago. And I talk about this on stage because I have a hard time accepting it still. You know, I had otherwise been a healthy person, and then all of a sudden I got sick, and now I'm a heart patient the rest of my life. Like I say, it's hard to accept because, number one, I don't look like a heart patient up here. You know, I look like I could have cancer or AIDS, but I don't. Thanks for laughing at that one, by the way. You mentioned I look like those horrible diseases, and you're like, "Yeah, you do. Look at them." This could be my Make-A-Wish, so keep laughing, everybody. I had heart surgery 10 months ago. They put in something called an ICD, which is a heart monitor, a pacemaker, and a defibrillator. It sits underneath my collarbone, and you can actually see it underneath my skin. And the best way to describe it is it looks like there's a Pepperidge Farm Milano trapped underneath my skin. Like, at my gym saw me without my shirt on, and he's like, "Hey man, I think you ate that cookie wrong. It's not supposed to be there." Defibrillator, that is the main function that really gets your attention, because if I go into cardiac arrest, it will figure it out and it will shock me back to life. But the doctors, they don't call it shocking you, they call it delivering therapy. Yeah, exactly. That's insulting. It's like getting punched in the nose and they're like, "Oh, that was a massage." It insults your intelligence, you know? We'd all be mad if you walked into the doctor and they're like, "Hey, it's not a colonoscopy. We're just going to tickle your butthole for like 2 hours. Get in there real good with a feather." And ladies, it's not a mammogram. We're just making pancakes. If you spend any time in a hospital, you know that they humiliate you. They did me. When I had my heart surgery, I also had a procedure called an ablation done. And what they do to do that is they go on either side of your groin with a catheter, and to do that, they have to give you a little shave downtown. But they didn't connect my shave. I was unconscious. I woke up and I looked down and I had a male landing strip. Like a Hitler mustache right down there. Connect the shave, all right? I mean, come on, you know? Is there like a copay that I didn't know about? An extra $25 and it would have been fine. I think they didn't tell me on purpose. They're like, "He can keep the money. We want to see his face when he goes." When I was in the hospital, they said I should make up a will. I'm a comedian. What's that going to look like? I leave my parents a notebook full of dick jokes and my debt. My legacy. It's actually what they're getting. The good news is that I am feeling better. The surgery's gone well, and exercise a lot. I take care of myself. I joined a gym, and that's something I said I'd never do. I started lifting weights, and I said I'd never do that as well. I said I never wanted to get big and bulky. Yeah, it turns out I don't have to worry about that. I definitely don't have the genetic profile. I can lift weights all I want, and I can get a skull tattoo on my arm, but it's always going to look like the shrunken head at the end of Beetlejuice. I don't drink or use caffeine anymore, and I live in Wisconsin. That's working out well. Yeah, no alcohol, no caffeine. Pretty much a Mormon at this point. Without all the extra chicks. Who needs that? Probably as good as that I don't drink anymore. I'm from Wisconsin, so I had my fill at certain points, that's for sure. One night I drank a whole box of wine by myself. That's not depressing. It's actually not. What you do is you take the silver bag out of the box, the one that holds the wine, you put a straw in that son of a bitch, and then you just walk around your house drinking like a big-ass Capri Sun.